What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having just a wonderful week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the theme of this week's monthly spread is a new one, Sag. It's a planetary energy spread. I'm not sure what the hand signs are for. I'm not even, it's fine. Nature, my problem. But this planetary energy spread, it's just, what I plan on doing is like every time the sun enters a new sign, I just want to talk about where the planets are at and how we can work with the energy. So hopefully you like this, Sagittarius. I've been enjoying it so far. And just so you all are aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius, as you can see here, I got, so these cards here are all the zodiac signs that the planets are in, and we're going to pull an oracle card for each of them, and then we'll pull tarot cards in addition to kind of talk more about the energies, okay? But just so you're all aware before we get started, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for all of them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Sagittarius. But let's see what we got here. Okay, but let's talk about the energy, Sagittarius, because Aries is having the biggest party. The moon just left Aries, so we made a little bit of room here. But your ruler, Jupiter, has been partying in Aries since last year. And then we got Mercury, and then, of course, a good old sun just entered there. You know, let's start with your ruler. Jupiter will be in Aries until the 15th of May. And with Jupiter being in Aries, nice, look at you. with the moon being, or excuse me, with Jupiter being in Aries, hopefully you've noticed that your ideas have been more innovative, and that your intuition is like a little more sharp, because Aries is really intuitive energy. And this is an opportunity as well, you know, still while we're working with this energy, to let go of any sort of limits from our past and come up with some new solutions for growth. And learn and reflect from what's gone down. And this is something too, you know, Jupiter being a planet of higher learning, you know, and abundance, is really a great time for doing some self-learning and teaching, and just like, yeah, finding different ways that you can grow and taking risk, you know, whether that be learning a new skill or maybe refining an existing skill. But whatever that looks like, you know, take this chance and try new things, or, you know, opportunities are endless here, especially I feel like, you know, when Jupiter and the sun are kind of chilling in the same sign. There's going to be a lot of energy towards, you know, just great stuff. Now with the sun being in Aries, you know, the sun, this begins the zodiacal year. It'll be in Aries through the 19th of April. And you know, we're coming out of hibernation. It's the springtime. You know, this is seizing life. You know, everything is blooming, ideas, flowers, people. I mean, it's just a wonderful time right now. Like, the energy is just fantastic and just full of wonder and opportunity. So make the most of that, Sag. And two, with Mercury being in Aries, I mean, we're going to express our ideas and communicate with more passion and courage and innovation. Mercury entered Aries on the 18th of March, and then we'll be there until the 3rd of April. But if you've been thinking about maybe going for that promotion, or maybe asking for a raise, or maybe talking to that special someone, whatever that's looking like, you know, use this Mercury energy, you know, to get into that courage, you know, and take that initiative there. So I'm with it. But let's start getting into your oracle cards here for this first one, because you got one of Pisces cards, the 8th card of Pisces, which is the old card. And the old card This means weary, retired, exhaustion, bone tired, needs restoration, overdue, old habits die hard, enduring the good old days, family patterns, back in time, stuck in the past, and nostalgia. And listen, Sag, just starting off with just all this old energy and kind of old ways of operating, listen, I'm all for nostalgia and, remembering how things used to operate and whatnot, but especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius officially today, we're going to talk about that more, but even past that, with all these planets in Aries right now, all this heat, this is a time to move, to look forward and to see what's next. Sure, we can reflect on this time and think about the ways that because with all these cycles that are going down, yes, we want to focus on the ways that maybe that we could have improved, but we also want to focus on our wins as well. But with focusing on the wins, we don't want to stay caught up in that, where it's like this. I'm thinking about the good old days where it's like you've come across those, like where it's like I'm thinking about that energy where it's like, man, I really had a great time when I was in, in my youth, and I was like maybe captain of the football team or of the cheerleading squad, and man, I really just hit it then. But it's like, but you didn't peak though. You can have more of this energy, but it's applying it in a new way. We're in a new age and we got to keep evolving, Sagittarius. So that's just something to think about just on a base level, but even more so. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Being mindful of, just now I'm thinking about just with this. I'm thinking about a lot. Okay, hold on, Sagittarius. That was like a rush here. With this old habits die hard, because that I feel you got the debauch card. Oh, excuse me, the Seven of Cups, which is debauch, the Moon card, and the Ace of Swords. And this is going to be a time, Sagittarius, where we want to make sure that we're clear-headed and we have a clear idea of what direction we want to go in life, and understanding what ways that we can grow and where this journey is trying to take us, where our intuition is trying to lead us. But I find with the Seven of Cups, if there are some kind of old habits or even people, and this could be, because you see here how this looks like just a big old swamp. If we have anything that is just like sullying our cups, whether this be, I don't know, the trifecta, drug, sex, alcohol, could be gambling, toxic people, whatever, making sure that we're checking our environment and in adjusting habits that are lowering our vibrations, and starting working in weeding out some of these old ways of operating that are no longer serving us a purpose or that are bringing us down, and start incorporating some new stuff here. Because when I'm thinking with the Moon card, just with this little pocket here, this little combination, this kind of tells me that maybe for some of us, like, maybe the reality of things, or that, we realize maybe where things are going, we're just not a fan of, and we just kind of, this gives me escapist vibes is where I'm trying to get to with this, and that we're trying to, I don't want to say blind ourselves from the truth, but we're in this place where it's like, nah, I just, like, with everything going, I just don't even want to be bothered with this. Like, I'd be like, no, we're just going to stay stuck and reminisce and be, remember and create illusions. Because you got to be careful. This is one of Pisces cards, huh? All this Pisces energy, Pisces with Pisces, that can be very fanciful, very, very mystical, but just, you got to be mindful of that, because we don't want to do things that are obscuring our view for where is next, just thinking about just the reality of things, the moon card can seem like a scary card. It's considered the scariest card in the of the major arcanas. But I feel like honestly, this is the most inviting card because the moon asks us to venture into the unknown, into things that might be uncomfortable, but it doesn't change the reality of stuff. We can try to alter it as much as we want, but this is still going to be going down. And the moon invites us, it's just like, hey, Sag, don't be scared. I know these Anubis figures seem like they're doing a lot, but they're just holding the door open for you. We want you to bring that sun because all the moon does is reflect the sun. It reflects your light, and that's what the moon is inviting us to do, Sagittarius, is to shine the brightest, to dust off, get off some of this rust here, and to get into, and to come into the shinier, just a newer version of you. And listen, on a base level, it's not like you're going to lose yourself in these changes, There's still going to be the essence of you. It's just like, how do you grow? It's just like with this. It's like, imagine if you were still the same person that you were in high school. And I mean not, and you don't even, and I'm not saying that you have the maturity level that you have now. No, you gotta keep everything that you were at when you were in high school. How's that person doing? They needed some assistance. They needed some help, and they needed to grow. And if anything, we needed to hey, buddy, I could think of 100 things that I tell my past self, but it's not about focusing on what was. It's about what's going on right now. How can we take this knowledge that we do have now? Because here's the thing, maybe some of us, we might think that I'm just thinking with this change and with everything's going, maybe some of us thinking that we can't change, or that, it's too late for us to change for whatever reason. It could be an age thing, could be a self-esteem thing, however that's looking like. It's never too late to start whatever it is, improvement, it's just that realization of when you've had it, like when you're done being, because listen, escapism happens, and this is a judgment-free zone. If what's going down isn't working for you, if it's a lot, I'm not saying that we want to do things that are raising our vibrations, but I just feel that don't try, because something too, I'm just thinking about when we get into like addictions and things, and when life can get kind of hard and all of that. It's being really kind to yourself at this time too, because I'm just thinking with the Ace of Swords, this is a double-edged sword, and this is like the sharpest sword of the swords. And the aces are cards of new beginnings, but when you think about the Ace of Swords, sword is just like an anagram for words. And if we're using words that are cutting ourselves down and that are keeping us in these low vibrations, that are preventing our growth, then we can get in our own way of our new beginning here. And this Ace of Swords is just trying to bring you clarity. It's just like, hey, this isn't working and we need to move forward. Aren't we tired of being exhausted and bone tired, and just like and just kind of like just sort of like this gives me just like existing, you know what I mean? Just sort of like just going with the motions, just sort of just like you can't be bothered. But use this inspirational energy right now. Take this heat to try to maybe start incorporating, and this is not something that I'm expecting you to get this all figured out today. This is not like we're just going to be, and if you can, just like maybe if we're in like some kind of addiction, for example, maybe quit cold turkey and just kind of start it. But just thinking about Sagittarius, let's just start with 1 cup. Okay, let's say this is self-esteem. Let's work on some positive affirmations, clean this cup up a little bit. It's like lovely. Okay, now where's the next cup? Okay, now this is like my health. Okay, I'm going to work on my health, and now I'm going to work on my boundaries. And then it's just you're cleaning up everything. The vision is becoming more clear, because really, you're this scarab beetle there, Sagittarius, and you're bringing that sunlight. You're getting ready to shine bright. And with your energy, just like with how enthusiastic and how optimistic you are, even in these tough times, we can still find the silver lining. We can still find little motivation just for us to move forward. You've been even on autopilot. You've been moving through this far. It's just like, there's just like, I feel that if we just kind of work on this, on kind of like cleaning up some of these cups and kind of just getting back in things back in order, clarity is going to come, and then we're going to start. We can mow around this car. We can start getting some new parts, start taking care of some things. Get this old car shining bright again. So anymore. I'm with that, Sagittarius. Let's get moving on to your to the next energies here, because you got Venus. Well, we're in Taurus energy now, and since I mentioned it, Venus is in Taurus. The Empress is at home, and with Venus just entered into Taurus on the 16th of March, and she'll be there until the 10th of April. And with Venus being in Taurus, this is a great time, especially if this is something that may be resonating with us, Sagittarius. This is a great time to bring any sort of love, and also like money as well, because with Taurus energy, deals with finances, material things, to bring any sort of issues like that out in the open. And I'm even thinking with love, it can be more than just like romantic relationships. It could be familial, it could be with friends, but I'm really thinking so too, bringing some of those issues, if we have some issues loving ourselves, and being aware of the things that we this Ace of Swords, this might be just awareness, and just getting eyes on some areas that you may want to or need to improve in, Sagittarius. If you've noticed that this is really kind of keeping you from moving forward. But Venus is like trying to, is setting the tone for giving us that stability back, because things have been a little kind of up in the air here as of late. So now, let's take this moment and kind of deal with these issues. Also, on a sidebar, on a little lighter note here, this is something too, a great time for dating. And also, this energy really, my favorite part of it, really is just like encouraging us to kind of slow down and really kind of be in the moment. When you think about Taurus energy, they really do appreciate the finer things in life. They really know how to empress and like self-care and treat themselves, and that's where I feel like taking some time and just doing some nice things for you, Sagittarius. This could be maybe getting out in nature, during this time, or maybe doing some gardening, or maybe even like if we've noticed that like our environment, like our safe space has gotten maybe a little chaotic as of late, maybe cleaning that kind of stuff up. And again, it doesn't have to be something where you tackle the whole thing. You don't need to revamp everything or, redo the place, but just like start taking like little initiatives to just get that ball rolling. And that could be something too, maybe rearranging some stuff, spring cleaning, it can really do you some wonders. Declutter your life, and see where some stuff, if we've been, how our clothes looking, do we have like a, what do they call that, bacon neck on our t-shirts, or is it hanging real loose? Do we have holes all over the place? How's the straps on our underwear? What's going down? Doing some stuff to really treat ourselves during this time and giving yourself some loving energy. So that we really realize the beauty again, because this really does give me kind of like we're not being present as we could, and not really seeing the beauty that's happening around us. So just something to think about with that energy. But also, the other that's in the other guy in the Empress's house, we got Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus has been in Taurus for a little while. Uranus, I want to say, stays in signs for about 14 years-ish. But Uranus will be in Taurus until 2025. But as you've seen, the whole game has changed up with how we deal with our finances, with how it shakes up our foundation, for finances, material possessions, and even like our self-esteem. because you know Taurus also deals with security, and when we're not feeling as safe as we want to, that can get us in a weird place, and you know where we don't want to possibly deal with that stuff. But what Uranus is trying to do is point out all the areas that aren't working anymore. Because I mean, think about it. Around this time, everything, Uranus has changed up everything, how we work, like the whole idea. Look at how many people are working from home now. That wasn't really like a big thing, like maybe a decade ago or so. Like it's really been something that's been booming here as of late. And then, this whole stuff with the bank and, the housing market, but again, Uranus doesn't do this stuff to just do change for change's sake. Uranus is actually very polite about it. It's just sort of like Uranus will come in and just like, oh, this really isn't working at all. And then flips the table and then and goes to work. Because at some point, we have to evolve with the times. Do you remember? That's an interesting image that popped in my head. Do you remember how cars, like the first cars when they started? I don't think there were any kind of windshield wipers in front of them, or there may have been one at the time. And I don't think that there were any sort of side mirrors. And just thinking about just even thinking about how cars have evolved. Really from this into, cars are practically driving themselves. Change is afoot, but it's embracing that change and realizing that it is for the better. And now that the Empress is in her home for a little bit, kind of stabilizing the energy, just sort of looking over Uranus's work. Because I get it can be kind of a shock. But now we can stabilize again. And let's get into your Oracle card, which is the third card of Virgos. And I like this. This is chess. You got chess here. I like that. We're going to get strategic. And, oh, wow. So strategy, playing, checkmate, grand design, thinking ahead, tactics, moves and counter moves, master plan, course of action, power play, game theory, and then consequences of actions. And before we talk about just thinking about that consequences of actions, let's talk about the consequences of inaction and staying stagnant, because that's going to get into a place where we start eventually, getting apathetic, where we don't care about life, and it's kind of losing that zeal, and everything just becomes sort of commonplace and the concept. But I feel like that. Oh, I had something real clever here. I feel that when we think about that's just where I wanted. I think I'm just going to leave that there. I thought I had more with that, but also, I feel like this is a good time to just get a game plan about, how do we get out of this funk? If that's resonating with you, how do we get unstuck? Now it's starting to piece together the consequence of inaction. But I almost feel like that the consequences of actions, or the consequences of inactions, outweigh the consequences of actions at this point. Where yes, we want to be mindful, but if we're not moving at all, it's not going to do us any good. It's just you see how this water is just all kind of gross and just kind of slimy and mucky, swampy. This reminds me of when you just kind of have water sitting in a bucket and it has nowhere to move, and after a while it just starts accumulating all the stuff and it gets gross. But if we move the water, sure, there may be we might be caught off guard, it may be adjustment, there may be some shocks, but at least we're getting some momentum and we're learning from the situations, as opposed to just sort of staying stuck and not really learning anything and just kind of staying in the good old days. So I feel that, this is really going to be a time for you, Sagittarius, to really start, if we're resonating with this, to get a game plan on how we're going to get out of that. Now, for some others, this just in general, yeah, okay. just in general, you know, this is going to be a good time too to just start thinking about, you know, what's next. You know, what do you want to accomplish during this new cycle here? Because again, Pluto's just entered Aquarius today. This is a generational shift. Like, what do you want to? Wow, Tower, yes, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But it's like, what do you want to birth in this world right now? You got Princess of Disc. This is a great time for Princess of Disc right now, Sagittarius. The only crazy idea right now is the one that's not being realized, because the Princess of Disc, she is pregnant with ideas, and when she's nurturing, she nurtures these ideas, whatever she's thinking about, and she's feeding her energy into this scepter, and that ground is lit because she's about to turn this force into just a cornucopia of just like abundance and just her dreams. But here's what's going to happen. We gotta make space for new with this Tower card. And Sagittarius, this is not something for me to scare you, but with this energy, you know, Mars does not play around. I find with Tower moments, they're actually really fantastic. Tower moments, there's a period of time right in this little window here where I feel like we get these little choices. Like higher self is just like when higher self can kind of feed through the fog. It's like, hey, do you want to maybe think about maybe, I don't know, maybe getting outside, or maybe you want to maybe not do whatever this vice is today. Higher self gives us opportunities to take Tower moments into our own hands, to take action. But if it's something that we're not seeing the message, we're ignoring all of the signs and not seeing, you know, the strategy, and not seeing how this is going to help us improve, well, then the Tower moment comes on, and then it's a little less pleasant. You know, it goes from something that we could have taken control of, and then it turns into something that's happening to us now. And then sometimes when that's happening to us, then we can get more that can exacerbate this, and then we get into a weird kind of sick spiral, and it's just going to take us, it buries us down, and you'll get out of it, Sagittarius. It's not like you're going to stay down there forever, but it's just like, how deep of a hole are you going to dig until you want to come back up for air and come back up to see the light again? And this is something, Sagittarius, while you're going through these changes, this is the moon in Sagittarius. While you're going through these changes and dealing with this stuff, make sure to take time to, you know, this is going to be a lot of energy that's going down here. These shifts, these changes, it's going to be something that we're going to need to persevere and to really rise up and be there for the occasion. But you got to make a move. You know, we got to figure out how do we moves and counter moves. You know, how are we adapting to these shifts, to these energies, because it's going to be. Today's going to give us an idea. Up until, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Today up until the 11th of June is. Do we have any more here? You know, we're going to talk about it right now, Sagittarius. We're going to get, because you got the fairy tale card here. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius right now, because this is going to set the tone or give us an idea of what the next 20 years or so are going to look like when Pluto officially moves into Aquarius in 2024. It's going to be January 21st of 2024. But between now and the 11th of June, it's going to be Tower moments all over the place, Sagittarius. And again, this is exciting times. You know, this is a time to really kind of wake up and see Mars energy. Sun just entered into where one of Mars's houses, or, you know, one of Mars's signs, Aries. Time to take action, because things are going to, we're seriously, when Pluto moves signs, it's literally the planet of transformation. Out with the old, in with the new. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was around like the 1770s, about the late 1770s. And what was that? A freaking revolution. And that's what's about to go down here. On an individual level, we're going to feel that, and we're going to feel that all on a soul tribe level. The world is going through an adjustment here, and this could be a renaissance. And this is not something that we want to be sleeping on, Sagittarius. This is something, embrace this dream. We're trying to clean this stuff stuff up here and bring enlightenment to people. We got ideas that we need to get cooking up, because I could do this all day. But this is, I mean, I'm so pumped because the rules are about to change. How things have been operating. You think you know chess now? You're going to bring your A game, because this is going to be big. Uniqueness is going to become mainstream. The technological advances, I feel like, are going to be insane. How we communicate is going to be nuts. There's going to be social movements, government changes. I mean, it's going to be lit. And this is going to be why we need to take action, because these tower moments are happening even if we're staying in the fog, if we're not aware. The changes are going about. Because even thinking too, when before even Pluto was discovered, Pluto wasn't discovered until about 1930, but Pluto was already doing hard work in the 1700s. You know what I mean? These energies are happening whether we are aware of it or not. So now that we got all this awareness, Sagittarius, let's get to work. And you know what? And listen, Sagittarius, it's not that I'm coming at you here. It's just all this heat, and especially with your sign, just because your sign is so wise and so much about a stagnant Sagittarius is a weird thing to be at, because your Jupiter wants you to grow. Jupiter is all about higher learning and exploration and adventure. So let's talk about your oracle card here, because you got the 7th card of Cancers here. And you know what? That's so funny. That's actually really cool, because I was born on the 7th month. I mean, I'm a Cancer, and I may be coming at you a little bit with this Aquarius energy and passion. I'm trying to get you inspired. But you got the fairy tale card here, and this is beautiful start here. Believe in the impossible. I almost wanted to stop there. Believe in the impossible, daydreams, romantic ending, universal archetypes, hopeful, magic, unicorns and rainbows, aspire, happily ever after, fanciful, and stories we tell. And let's talk about that. Stories we tell ourselves. What are we telling ourselves right now, Sagittarius? Are we telling ourselves things that are getting us motivated, that are getting us pumped, that are getting us ready to embrace these changes? Or again, are we trapped in a funk right now? Are we stuck right now? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But because it happens. But it's just getting eyes on it. It's when we do see that trend is happening, we got to get out of it can't be, if we're stuck in this, it can't be all unicorns and rainbows all the time. Sometimes we got to wake up and see what's going down here. And then how can we take, because let's say, you're upset with where the world's at, okay? Or you want to raise the vibration, but you're not sure how, okay? That's perfect for your sign. What do you need to learn? What things you need to do to make the impossible, what you may feel impossible, possible? The only crazy idea right now is the one that's not realized. The one that, I think I already said that, but I mean, look at that. It's coming, clearly it's important. It's coming out of my mouth again. So we can have your happily ever after. We can start working towards those dreams, Sagittarius, but it's something that remembering hope, that these situations that we get trapped in, whatever it's looking like for you, because it doesn't necessarily have to just be like a vice. This could just be stuck in whatever it is in general. Maybe not sure where we want to go next. What that may be looking like, but really clarity is coming. I feel like this whole thing is about to make sense. But we'll get some tarot cards on this to kind of, okay. Let's see what's going down here. Yup. Yeah. All right, so we got 2 of Wands here, more strong Mars energy, or Mars and Aries energy here. Got the 8 of Swords, and then you got the Knight of Cups. Oh, man. So listen. Okay, let's talk about this Knight of Cups first. Because the Knight of Cups, he's the type, he's in a when we talk about the Knight of Cups, I'm just thinking about if this is like an addiction type of thing, for example. Or just if you're resonating on that side of it. The Knight of Cups, he's another symbol of that. And that's something where when things have not, when things, he loves being in love. He loves fun. He loves, he loves the feel good stuff. But sometimes, if there are tower moments that come in his realm and it requires more work than he wants to put in, sometimes he's not interested, and sometimes in order to keep the good vibes going, and instead of like working to create new vibes, he'll perpetuate these old vibes by possibly overindulging in whatever that looks like, whether it be addictions or whatnot, or this could even be, things that we're telling ourselves, that we may not be good enough, whatever thing that is interfering us from growth, because the eight of swords is the things that we tell ourselves to keep us down, that keep us from moving forward, that keep us from harnessing that strength and going forward. Because here's the thing, with transformation, sure, sometimes there's going to be work. It's not all fun all the time, but we can find ways to make it as fun as possible, though. We can still find the beauty in the growth that's going down here, because this peacock down here, the Knight of Cups represents the ocean, and this peacock represents the brilliance of that ocean, of this journey that's going down here that you're in. And then the crab represents the strength, that action that you need to rise above. Cancer energy, that cardinal energy, and this is going to be perfect because we're going to talk about Mars being in Cancer, but this realizing that we can create there are, how do I want to put this, Sagittarius, because there's so much, and especially when we start talking about like addiction hits home for me. That's always one where I want to be careful and be extra mindful, because it's always a tricky thing, and this is not something where I feel like you're just doing, if that's resonating with you're just like doing that just because you want to stay stuck. No, sometimes it's just it happens. It really, you get caught up sometimes, but realizing that at some point we do need to take action, and eventually these moments do make sense. All even during this little weird kind of hazy time, all of these lessons start to make sense, and we're sure it may not have been fun at first, but we can make new experiences, and because the Knight of Cups he's the King of Cups in traditional decks, and he also represents when he's balanced, when he's been really working on his stuff. He represents emotional wisdom and really understanding your head and your heart, and all of this stuff that you're going through right now. So find a way, Sagittarius, really to start working in just more stuff that's just going to raise our vibration and really help us get back in control again, or at least feel that we have some semblance of control, or so that we start at least feel like we're working with the energies a lot, at least a lot easier. So I hope that makes sense. But let's move anymore. Let's move on to the Cancer card. Now we're going to work back, because Mars, the Tower, is going to be entering Cancer on the 25th of this month of March, and will be there until the 19th of May. Now, this is an interesting placement for Mars, because technically this is like Mars is kind of like the energy is starting to weaken in Cancer, because Mars is when you think about the opposite signs, the opposite sign of Cancer is Capricorn, and Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it's stronger there but weaker in Cancer sign. So the energies are a little dissonant right now, and what happens is Cancerian energy is going to kind of water down that heat that Mars brings. And it's not that you won't be able to get things done, but it's more so that if it's not resonating with you, if your heart's not in it, it's going to be more of a chore to get it done. It's going to take a little extra oomph, to get this thing done, because it really is, Mars is not used to being all up in his feelings all the time, and Cancerian energy is very emotional energy, or at least it can be. But the perk to that, I find, is we can use these energies to discover what passions we have, and to see if there are any areas in our lives that maybe we can start working in some hobbies, maybe to replace some of these vices, see if there's some areas that we've neglected, that we can nurture, and then take action on that standpoint, and see if we can start doing some healing that way. But something to also be mindful of, because Mars is in, with Mars having the potential to be such aggressive energy, and Cancerian energy having the potential to be very emotional. We want to be mindful of our emotions, and making sure we're not being reactive, just because we just like the passions are going to be kind of turned up a little bit. So just something to be mindful of. And that's interesting because I like that the card that's with it, because you got the 9th card of Aries, which is the Shield card. And this is a card of being defensive, protect, support, safeguard, block, guardian, stand up for, being prepared, heroic, stronghold, security, ward off unwanted energies, being on guard, and withstand. And honestly, starting off with the warding off unwanted energies, when we're going through this healing process, because even if however we're resonating with this, if we are, there's going to be healing on the other end of this. But we have to be mindful of the energies that are around us. And look at you, said, oh yeah, sick. Excuse me, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But being mindful of the energies that are around you at this point. Are there people, because sometimes when we will say, for example, drinking, sometimes, when we're working on this, it's hard to work on giving up that vice if we're hanging around the same crowd. This may be something, work with this Mercury energy in Aries, just to be like, hey, this is you talking to your old crew. Hey, the old cars. I'm trying to improve myself, I think it's just I think I want to cut drinking out, slow down. I may not be hanging out with you all the time. Maybe we can find different ways to hang out. Maybe we can, do like a movie night, or do like a game night, play chess, but, and see how that is, if people aren't vibing with that. Okay, that's fine, when the vibrations match up again, they'll come around in your future, or they'll come around again in the future. But if not, this is for your growth, Sagittarius, and we got to think about that first. You got to every now, well, really constantly, we got to make sure that we're thinking about ourselves, and that we're putting ourselves in, surrounding ourselves with good energies, and being mindful of that, and protect your energies, and because this is a healing process. But I love this little pocket here that came along with it, with the defense card, because here's your energy right here. This is your card. The art card is Sagittarius, and then you got the moon, which Moon in Sagittarius, recovery. That's another thing, another meaning for this card. It's one of my recovery cards. And this is going to be a time, I feel, Sagittarius, if we've been feeling imbalanced, if we've not been feeling ourselves, to find you again and find out what that really means. Listen to your intuition always, because especially now, but just always, Sagittarius, because you're that inner voice, that guide is trying to lead you to this cornucopia here, but we have to listen to ourselves. We have to get like a game plan here, because the art card is getting out of a tricky, or can be getting out of a tricky situation through like calculated planning. And that where whatever this little moon 7 of cups little combo there that we may be stuck in, we can get out of this, but we just have to start putting in that work, and start thinking about and being aware of what we're manifesting as well. And I feel that when we start doing that, then you're going to get this balance. You'll get this harmony here, and everything will come together just so nicely, Sagittarius. Because really, that is a beautiful combination. You and your intuition, trust that during this time. That is going to be key. And even looking at this last card here, you got more intuition. That's more. Oh. Princess of Swords. And here's the thing with the Princess of Swords. She's so smart. Just like you, Sagittarius. She's so freaking smart. It don't even make no sense. But sometimes she can be her own worst enemy. The Princess of Swords can represent destructive logic. You know, like saying like things like, oh, I don't, you know, like whatever things that bring us down. You know, this looks like a war zone here that's going down, all this conflict. But what I like to point out is she's the only one that's in here. You know, there's nobody. Girl, who we fighting right now? You know, this I feel like really represents, you know, like inner turmoil, because even thinking about what she represents, you know, the princesses are earth, and the princesses in this deck represent earth, and then the swords represent air. And earth and air are two contradictory elements, and it's like, how do we bring those contradictory elements together in harmony? You know, that those opposites, that masculine and feminine, that all of that together. How do we get those vibrations so that we're feeling it, that just feeling it zen again? Because you see, you know, this even the art card in this deck is the alchemical marriage, or no, excuse me, I like to think of this card as like the honeymoon phase from the Lovers, because the Lovers is like that coming together of you and all those energies and becoming into like your higher self. And now this is when you and your higher self get to work. This is when you start manifesting. But this is something that we're got to get out of our way first, Sagittarius. You know, we got to really, really, I feel like kind of find that balance between like your head and your heart here, and really listening to your gut at this time, because it's trying to lead you to greatness, you know, to really talking about the priestesses, the moon, trust the moon, you know, journey into new uncharted territories and see where that's going to take you, you know. Okay, let's get to this last card here. Well, last energy here, then we'll get to the card, which is Pisces energy. And this, I love this. Let's talk about first. Neptune's been in Pisces for like the last like 14 or some odd years. Neptune chills. When she gets into a planet, she hangs out for a minute. And she'll be in Pisces until 2025 of March. But with this energy, it's just limitless compassion. I mean, just the value of coming together really kind of shines through. And just when I'm thinking about how loving, you know, Pisces, you have really a lot of strong Pisces energy here too, with the moon and the Knight of Cups. You know, this is a good time, yeah, to come together as a soul tribe, you know, and to show that kind of compassion, to show that loving compassion for yourself. And this is also a great time to get in touch with your spirituality, because something about your sign as well, Sagittarius, being ruled by Jupiter, you know, your sign covers like philosophy and spirituality and philosophy, and you really are a mystical sign. You know, you are like the teachers, you know, you really can't, like, just such wise energy that you can have, and so much abundance and stuff that you can, that when we're experiencing life and we're growing and we're protecting our energies and trusting our intuition, that you can impart so much just wisdom is the only word that's coming to my head for the soul tribe here. But you know, I'm overcome by what you can do right now, like in general, Sagittarius. So work with these energies. You know, we still got a few more years with Neptune being in Pisces. Work with this energy right now and really trust your gut, because you're meant to help show. The fire signs are inspirational, you know, and everyone does it different. Aries gives you that kick in the pants that you need. Leo, Leo just comes in and just is their fun kind of like, or they just kind of come in and just like they bring that sunlight and like wake everyone up. And then Sagittarian energy is just like you're like a shock to the system. You just bring you bring such. The last time I talked with a Sagittarius, we were just kind of spitballing ideas, and I mean, she's just was just throwing gold all over the place. I was like, wow, it's incredible. So, and listen, this is not me trying to blow smoke up your skirt or anything like that. I don't think I have any Sagittarius placements in my chart, which, but neither here nor there. But I'm just thinking too, just your energy is so enthusiastic and so optimistic and so expansive that's how you inspire. That's how your fire energy works. And really, you can really just bring dreams to life. And while we're talking about bringing dreams to life and all that fairy tale energy and what we were talking about with the fairy tale card, Saturn is in Pisces. And this is a perfect time to go inward. Saturn entered Pisces on the 7th of March and will be there until 2025. So we got a good little chunk of time here, Sagittarius, to really kind of connect with any dreams, figure out, what do we want to start manifesting? What do we want to do with life? How do we establish a new dominion here? And what change can we bring, and how can we raise this vibration? Because Saturn in Pisces, this is actually a really amazing energy, because Saturn, sure, being the planet of restrictions and limits and time and karma, can come across as a bit of a hard ass, sure, but what all Saturn is trying to do, especially being in Pisces, is just like, hey, all these dreams and stuff that you have, let's start manifesting. Like, what are you doing? That you're sleep now. We're sleeping on gold here, Sagittarius. Let's spread some of this abundance around. Come on. And this also, Sagittarius, something to be mindful of too, with this energy. You might be feeling a little restless, maybe a little anxious, having trouble sleeping, just because there's something that's trying to, we're going through, the energies are trying to get us to live our dreams and really start to manifest and trying to create newness and beauty in this world right now. But we gotta, in order to calm that down, we have to figure out what messages are, where's the energies trying to lead us right now, But let's get into your oracle card, which is you got the crystal ball here. The first card is Scorpios. And this energy is about intuition, premonition, seeing clearly, discernment, perception, sixth sense, instinct, divination, future planning, ESP, past, present, future, and then gut reaction when we're talking about that, and inner knowing. So, wow. And then 9 of Cups. Beautiful. Jupiter in Pisces, because you and Pisces share a ruler. And look at that. Look at Pisces sharing in the abundance, and which is actually really funny, because Pisces was dropping mad abundance in in this last reading that I did. And I feel that you can have the same happiness, Your intuition is trying to guide you there. It's really listening to that voice and being with yourself and not, because if we're numbing ourselves right now, we're going to miss the signals, and it makes it harder for higher self for those messages to come through. That's why tower moments happen. It's really. Understand that if you feel like you're in the equivalent of some kind of tower moment, that in this one that you didn't initiate yourself, understand that that's really something to really pay attention to, because higher self has run out of options, because no one likes just throwing tower moments at you, that's crazy. But it's also crazy to not move, and to not grow, and I shouldn't say that it's crazy, but it's just, it hinders the process here. And it really, you can have all the abundance you want, all the happiness. You can get all this fulfillment. See what happens when we start doing things that like more loving things towards ourselves, and start working on making new memories and getting game plans and protecting our energies and finding our happily ever afters. Look at how our cups are so clean now, and abundant, and no longer stagnant. We're not stuck in this energy anymore. Fortune has finally come here. But this is something that I really feel like, especially just how intuitive your energy is the energy is coming through right now. You really pay attention to your intuition right now, Sagittarius, because it's trying to lead you to your happiness, to try to lead you to growth, into greater things. More. Yeah, I feel like that's really something that's going to be like, I mean, other than maybe Scorpio, this is a really kind of a powerful kind of intuitive reading that you're getting ready to possibly, I feel like, enhance, really get more in tune. There's like an opportunity to get way more in tune with the energies than you already are. But we gotta see that growth, and really understand our energies and where our life is trying to lead us. Prince of Wands, I'm with it. And you know what? This Prince of Wands anymore. All right, let's switch back over there, Sag. Because with this Prince of Wands, when we're figuring out how to get through this, whatever situation you may be going through right now that's got you stuck right now, this is something where you may not know where to go, but that's okay. You may have to fake the confidence, like tell yourself, like, I believe in divine guidance, affirmations, if that's something that might be your jam. But just something that getting in the habit of believing that you're going to get this figured out, that you're going to get out of this funk, that your intuition is guiding you down the right path. And it may be a little uncomfortable at first, but here's the thing. Of the princes, he's the only prince, I don't know if you can really tell here, but he's the only prince that has his eyes open. He really is seeing everything. It's like, and sure, yeah, his like physical eyes are open, but I almost feel like that is like his sixth sense is opening up. He really navigates. It's like, oh, this is where I'm going to go. And even thinking about, because normally I'm always making fun of how he's being pulled by this lion here, and the way the rein is resting on the rein, he's not holding it, it's resting on his wrist. So how the cart is actually moving, I'm not really sure, but that's, again, we don't question it. Sagittarius, love you, Prince. Oh, I think we just bonded. We don't have to understand it sometimes, but just go with the flow. Just trust that it's going to lead you. Let higher self take the wheel and listen to the messages that are coming through. And it's going to take time, Sagittarius. It's not going to be something that is going to be like overnight. But the moment that you start doing those things, higher self is just like, what? Wait, what'd you say? You ready? Are you ready to get some 10 of cups? Well, let me see. I'm going to give you 1 cup. Here's 1 cup. Let me see what you do with that one first. Because last time I gave you 7, we made a mess. Higher self is funny like that. But this can be something, there's new opportunities coming for you. And there's going to be real, just great growth coming for you, Sagittarius. But really, trust your intuition at this time, because it really is trying to lead you to greatness. So I'm going to leave that there. I am with it. And if something resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share this, especially if we know someone who's going through something, because I really hope that made sense. But when we get into like addictions and things, possibly, because that's really, this gives me really kind of escapist types of vibes. That really does kind of hit home for me, because it reminds me, because if this is something that's resonating with you, I've been through it too, and really got deep in it, for like a good while. But when you look back on it, when you reflect on that old car, and see where you're at now, it blows your mind, you know, how what growth can happen. It almost feels like it's still that same vehicle, but it's almost just like a new driver, you know, like it ultimately it feels way better now than it did just kind of being stuck, you know. But everyone's journey is different, and it's when your intuition's coming through, when that message that comes through that really speaks, it's like, hey, now's the time. Like, let's say, hey, tower moments come, like, come on, let's do this thing, you know. You'll know when to react. But this could be maybe, and I don't share this, Sagittarius, just if we know someone who's going through this. Like, I'm about to get back into your reading. But, and then subscribe and hit that bell button if you want notifications when I get released videos each week. And then social media, I'm on Insight Timer. And while I was talking about affirmations, I made a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a little group on there. The app is free. It's Insight Timer if I didn't say that. But the app is free. They have a premium version if you want it. But the group is there at the moment. It's just a little spot where I just drop positive affirmations and encouraging messages. And I encourage you to do the same. You know, if you come across anything, just drop it in the group. Or on the flip side, if you're kind of struggling with the mantra, just need a little pocket of sunshine or a little gold to throw in your pocket, come on through, pick one up and take it with you. You know, hopefully it helps you throughout your day. And even if you don't join the group and you're on the app, friend me. I would love to meditate with you. Who knows when we get lined up? Because I just actually made friends with someone not too long ago, and then they subscribed to my channel. I was just like, love it. Love when the soul tribe grows. So definitely check that out if you're interested, Sagittarius. And then lastly, if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, wherever, come over and check out my other channel, The Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We absolutely talk about our ruler, the High Priestess, and the Moon. Wow, I just said that. So you see how much we talk about the Moon. Lunar shenanigans all over the place. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise card so I can get you out of here. You star. We're going to talk about that. Let's see what your oracle card is. Yoga. So you got the fourth card of Libras. Yoga. Didn't I say you were about to be, this is going to be a really intuitive, very zen, spiritual time? You and Scorpio, I feel like, are getting ready to become some sort of like spiritual leaders, so brace yourself. Contemplation, deep breath, centered, go within, steady, balanced, relax, take a break, inner child healing, that's lovely. Meditate, time alone, balanced chakras. Weren't we talking about chakras earlier? I don't remember. No, we weren't. That was, never mind. Reflection, we're about to talk about chakras, wellness, and rest. And this energy, because the star card is a card of healing too, because you just got out of a tower moment. You know, the tower is the 16th card, and this is the next step on there. And you know what's after the star card? The sun, happiness. You know, wow. Oh wait, no, actually it's the moon and then the sun. But I'm actually glad that I thought about that, Sagittarius, because that's where you're getting ready to work up to, talking about the sun. Because check this out. Your card is 14. Oh, we don't have the devil. But then you got 16, 17, 18. You're getting ready to work your way towards the sun. You know, it's coming. But we need to take this time if there's any sort of healing that needs to get done. You know, this is the time. And also, I feel that with the star card, this can also represent unexpected help. So this may be something where if we are struggling with something, you know, this isn't medical advice, but work with the resources that you have available to you. If you can talk with a friend about this, dope. If you need to go talk to a professional about this, dope. You know, but as long as we're doing something about this, that we're doing something towards the healing, you know, getting ourselves back in balance. And then too, don't look at this don't beat yourself up or anything going through this time, because this lesson that you went through, it was necessary. And bet it's going to, when you do heal from it, because you will, you'll be all in line here. All your chakras are going to be aligned. And when you do, you can become a teacher, because you're going to, this experience right here, because you nurtured yourself, you showed yourself compassion, you showed yourself love, you did all of these happiness and followed your intuition, you can be that teacher, that leader that can help others grow. Because wouldn't it have been nice to have someone there when you were going through this thing? You can be that saving grace for someone. You can be, oh, I'm going to get choked up here just even thinking about it. You can be that star that can be in someone's life, that unexpected help. And that's Neptune and Pisces if I ain't never seen it before. So go out there and change lives, Sagittarius. Start with yours. Change your life. Let's start raising that vibration through the roof. And man, that would be brilliant. So I'm going to leave that there. So yeah, in Sagittarius, when going through this healing and stuff, all of this, make sure that we are staying safe, okay? And if we are, however we were resonating through this, however, if we're kind of in a struggle right now, I got you. It's me putting your arm around me, and I'm going to help you raise that vibration, because that's how we do it. Because when you heal, I heal, vice versa, and we grow. So I will catch you when you shaman, you. I just said the same thing to Scorpio. You two are really about to change the game up here. But I will catch you on the next one later.